We're talking about the 3-color rule.
Mm.
Is the 3-color rule crap?
Yes.
Or is it something you really need to have? We're going to talk about it. I'm Scott, a.k.a. the Emperor.
I'm Craig, a.k.a. the Hungry Barbarian, who has never played a barbarian.
What do we mean by the 3-color rule?
Yeah, I have no idea what about this, so you're going to have to inform me.
One of the most famous ones is probably Warhammer 40k, or Age of Sigmar's, the fantasy version. And what they do is they say that you have to have 3 unique colors on the models for your miniatures, and the base needs to be colored. And the idea and point behind it is that you ensure, and I'm going to read this from the literal definition, it ensures a base level of effort in table-ready visual appeal, largely preventing unpainted gray plastic armies from hitting the tabletop.
Okay, question. Because when you say color, hunter green, olive green, baby poo green is all green. So do I have to have like a green, a yellow, and a blue, or can I have 3 blues?
They need to be distinct is the key word. So
if a judge gets a hair up there, they need to change the wording, because if it is up to interpretation, all it takes is one neck beard on a power trip, and my whole army could be, I couldn't play in a tournament.
So let's talk about that, because I've probably been to, I don't know, a couple hundred tournaments. I want to say a couple hundred. We've been playing Warhammer 40k for, I don't know, 9-10 years now at this point. And we've been pretty involved in the competitive scene almost right away. And that's the place that I feel like you see that rule the most.
100%.
They say it, they prescribe it, but I haven't really seen it enforced. Like, to the point where they're like, you can't play because of it.
Okay.
Usually what it comes down to is if the worst I've seen with it is the organizer, the tournament organizer, TO, happens you get 10 less points per game. Because for scoring for 40k, it's out of 100 points possible. 10 of those points is because you have a painted army. The other 90 points are broken up between earning points of doing different things inside the game. Okay. So you get 10 less points. I've actually brought armies to a tournament, like my Tau army, for example.
Yes, you're famously
and I'll try to put a picture in with this.
Check out the video. It's awesome.
And that army, I had to add a couple of models to it. Because I wanted to play something specific.
Last minute.
And what ended up happening during that tournament, because people were so like distracted with the cool diorama, they
overlooked it, didn't they?
They're like, whatever, we're not going to dock you 10 points. They clearly seen that I was putting an effort in.
Right.
Because you don't make a diorama like that without putting the effort in.
Right.
They're like, I don't even care that a couple things aren't painted. Like, nobody cared.
Right.
And that's kind of the thing where the wiggle room comes in. Where it does matter is if you're trying to do like a best painted.
Well, I would really hope that if it's best painted. Now, granted, I'd love to be that guy that just shows up to Worlds and I just kicked everybody's behind.
And everybody's painted derpy.
Yeah. And it's like, it looks like a 5-year-old with a crayon.
Yeah.
Or I would love it if someone showed up with an unpainted army. I'm sorry. If I go through all the trouble to learn the strategy, to be able to kick your butt up and down the street, that shows more effort than, hey, I slapped some paint on a bunch of plastic.
And I think that's part of the debate, right? When should we apply this rule and when should we not apply the rule? The 3-color rule is having 3 distinct colors on a model and the base painted, assuming there's a base painted to be able to use in a tabletop war game. So I think there's a lot of reasons why not to enforce it, but if we're focusing on the reasons why we would enforce it, the number one, and it's even in the description, is to raise the visual standard of the hobby. It prevents like just gray plastic armies. It encourages people to show like pride and presentation of the things that they have. Like,
it does give you that level of effort. Kind of like if you just show up in a sweatpants and a hoodie. Yeah. As opposed to you show up in a business suit for an interview. Who are you gonna go with, generally? Yeah. Unless it's a sweatpants and hoodie firm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to probably look at the guy with the suit.
I don't know. I kind of like need to be in the mood to wear a suit. Sometimes I want to be fancy. Sometimes I don't.
I don't even own a suit.
No?
Nope.
Yeah.
They don't make... Have you tried to buy a suit in Frost Giant?
That's a good point. Exactly.
Gosh damn.
Yeah. You got your Joker suit. You can wear that.
No, the pants I couldn't even buy.
Oh yeah,
it was like really... It was like a cheap hotel. There was no ballroom. No.
Okay.
And who wants me showing up to an event that you have to be in a suit and a Joker suit? Look like a pimp.
Okay, so the second point I have here, and is going down my list, is improves gameplay clarity. I would say this is probably the best.
100% I could get behind that.
Yeah.
Because trying to see, especially on gray mats or darker mats, and you have no color, it's hard to see.
Well, clarity is a couple levels. So you got clarity of seeing the models themselves actually on the table. That, like 100% line of sight. But the other thing is between the different units or models. So imagine, like, you've played against orcs before. Mm-hmm. Like, it's...
No matter how they're painted, all freaking orcs look the same.
Roxy did it with her Gene Stealer army. Was everybody, like, each of the units, they have a color base around the rim. So here's a good example right here, and I'll put it in front of this camera. But you can see this is
green and red.
So you got green and red between the two of them. I'll do a better picture, but
that's smart.
But yeah, you can tell the difference because when you got multiple of the same unit together, how do you know when one ends and one doesn't end? So that part of it, super smart. That makes it 1,000 times easier.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
So
just for me to keep track of things,
and you could do it with different units. Like they have different colors on them. Like she has some units. When she painted her Gene Stealer army, she did a little bit more narrative or immersive, which I think is one of the cool parts about it, where like different colors represented different generations. So like with Gene Stealer cults, they were embedded for a period of time. Yeah. So she kind of took that into like a narrative approach with it, which was really cool. Like
I like it.
I think that type of thing makes it really neat and does help the immersion and the
it tells the story. And,
yeah. So that part of it's really cool. Okay. Like I like that, and I think that's a good reason.
You got me with point number 2.
Point number 2. Yeah. I would say that's probably one of the best points is the clarity.
Yes.
Because it gets really messy really quick.
Yes, it does.
And I wrote this down. I should know what I'm fighting without asking every turn. If I'm playing a war game, I need that because I'm making quick decisions. And the whole trick with playing war games is the more information you have to load in your brain in the moment, the harder it becomes.
Yeah, that's true.
The other one is creates a social contract. So what I mean by that is like everyone commits to a base level of effort. And I think that extends out to the terrain that you're playing on too. If I'm playing on just plain single colored terrain and I was going to a tournament, I'd be kind of mad if it was all gray terrain or cardboard boxes or something like I'd expect.
Especially with how much you pay for a tournament.
Exactly. So it could be very frustrating. So that social contract there is to kind of just set, at the very best, set expectations. You know what you're doing. You're saying this is the level of expectation. You're going to have people that are going to go crazy and they're going to put like 1,000 hours in their army, and you're going to have people that are going to paint the thing the night before with, an airbrush or just going to make it have the colors. Mm. The other thing we have here is motivates hobby progress. It pushes people to actually finish their armies and complete them. Again, it's what you measure.
Pile of shame.
Yeah, pile of shame.
I get that.
Pile potential, I think is a better descriptor. And people make goals now. Is that goal because of the push and the drive that you have to have a painted army to be whatever? Like that. It just depends on what you're measuring.
I just know procrastination me, having a deadline. Oh, it's the 11th hour. I need to get 180 models done. Okay. We're not sleeping tonight, boys.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's probably one of the best motivators I have to paint is knowing that I'm going to a GT. Like, for example, Layton's
the speed orcs.
The speed orcs. He's got Speed Freak army, and he needed to paint all those. We started on Monday. That we had to leave for Thursday, and we painted it in between.
My perfect example: your sea creature Nids.
Oh yeah,
you were painting those up until the moment of loading them into your thing.
Oh yeah,
I remember coming over and helping.
Oh yeah, because we were putting them on bases and stuff right before we left.
100%.
But the cool thing about that, as much as that was stressful, not the ideal situation, the cool thing is I did another tournament and I didn't have to do anything to them. Yeah. Or I just did a little bit of stuff.
You had to fix up whatever might have come off or snapped or whatever.
But that's completely different than having to paint them all.
Those sea Nids are your most epic army yet.
If I say I spent about 120 hours putting it all together, I probably spent 100 hours of it modifying, editing, 3D models, printing, modding,
at least if not
all
double that.
Right? I did 90% of my effort or more was done modifying it than I was actually painting it. Painting it was
the easy part.
Yeah.
Best part about your army is when you kill something, you can go joss them.
Yeah, I did that quite a bit.
And people don't get that reference. But if you do, you're cool.
You're cool.
Tell us what cartoon it's from.
So motivates hobby progress. The other one enhances event prestige. So it's kind of like what you were talking about. You go in a fancy hotel. So if I'm going to a fancy tournament, then I might expect there to be more things. Like if I go to an RTT, I imagine there's going to be some people that have probably never painted before. There's going to be, paint bleeding over between the different pieces. It's going to look like, a 3-year-old with a crayon.
AKA the Barbarian.
And that's fine. That's fine. So 3-year-old with a crayon. And then you're going to have other people that have probably put like 1,000+ hours into their army. What are reasons why it's an outdated rule or why it's baloney, why we shouldn't do it? Why?
My thoughts are, why does it have to be 3 colors? Who cares if you're trying to distinct, why not just 1 color? 2, we've met several people that aren't able to paint because of certain disabilities.
Yep.
Everybody be cool. Why's it gotta be 3?
You want to do more? Good for you.
Yeah. And also, if you're coming and want to be this immersed into your battle where you're getting to whatever, that's not on me to deliver for you. That's your own problem that you got to solve yourself.
Yeah.
Go play with your buddies in your basement.
Well, I think that's part of it is they want to go to a play. Maybe that's the problem that people might have is the buddies in their basement just are never going to paint. So they want to go someplace where they can, my epic cool painted army can go against your epic cool painted army.
You know what? You know how you can solve that problem? Go online and find other people that want that epicness with you.
I think that's what we're saying is that the GT is the place for it.
I'm saying not even that. Like you could just have casual games of epic things.
I think similar to like D&D, where you have people that you got the murder hobos, you got the people that are there for the story, and you got the people that want to role play. Those 3 different things, you kind of have the hobby thing too. You got people that are in for it for the lore. You got people that are in for it because they want to paint cool stuff. They like the minis. And you got people that get into the strategy of the game.
Right.
For me personally, I like the hobby part of the game. That's something that I can control on my own. I can be the person that is better at that or worse than that is all dependent on me. Like I depend on myself to be able to put time in to be able to be better at it.
Do you expect everybody around you to be putting in
that's the
an
thing.
Equivalent? Just that's because it's so I think that's the part of the social contract. Just because I want XYZ
doesn't mean everybody else
doesn't mean I should therefore be allowed to enforce XYZ to some degree on somebody else.
That's where probably putting the standard in though is helps set the expectation. I think that's the argument.
Right. But then that brings me to why 3 colors?
Yeah.
Why not 2? Why
like
not
they just
1?
need to be painted. There needs to be some level of effort that's put into it, not just gray plastic or you built it in the way it is. Okay.
But also
I can get behind that.
But also, if I come up, I'm ready to go, and I know my rules, and I can kick your ass up and down Main Street with one eye closed. Doesn't that show just as much effort into the hobby as? Just saying, there's different ways to show like your investment into XYZ.
Right.
At that point, we're just putting arbitrary rules. Hey, everybody has to wear a 3-pointed hat if they ever play a pirate.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Leighton was actually in a tournament, and he won the tournament. Like he had beat everybody. He had maximized his points every round. So 3 games of Warhammer, got 100 points each turn. There's another guy that had 3 points, that played 3 rounds of Warhammer and got his 100 points each time. But they were, for the tiebreaker, they enforced who had their stuff painted or not. And Leighton's bases were not painted. And so he lost points for that and came in second place. I
honestly, in that kind of thing, that is where I could see them going to it.
I think the 3 color thing is meant to be where it's not like you took the model outside and you went with the spray can. And you said, look, it's all painted. It's 1 color. Like, I think that's what it's trying to prevent.
What if I have hand tremors and can't paint?
Well, I think that's the best argument on why it's an outdated rule.
Okay.
Because there's another group at the hobby store where there's a guy who physically cannot paint it. Right? He cannot paint his models. He's got the shake. I don't know exactly what he has.
Right.
Parkinson's or whatever. I don't know. But he's got something where his hand shakes where he cannot paint the model. Like, he just cannot. He can't do it. And he's like, I want to play in these tournaments, but I can't because there's a rule that you have to have three colors. He's like, how am I supposed to play? And so there's a group of us that got together and said, what do you want your stuff to be? And we all chipped in and painted his army for him so he could play at these tournaments. Like, he had went and showed up, and he was just like, I try to play, but then I get deducted 10 points. It's just not fun for me.
Right.
Because that happened to be the group that was enforcing it. And he's like, I don't really have access to go a whole lot of other places. It was like 5-10 minutes from his house. So he was able to go really easy to there. He was able to walk there if he wanted to because he couldn't like really drive because his disability was so bad.
It's all about accessibility.
And so like he was being gatekeeped out of being able to do it. So again, we went and got together, we helped paint his army, and then he was able to play.
But even if we're saying 2 colors, you could tape or put a piece of paper up on something and spray another thing of color.
You could do something.
Yeah, right. My question is like 3. I just want to know why 3 is the number that they went to. I know it's thou shalt only count to 3.
Yeah, I think it's if you're looking at the model and you're like, okay, there's probably some type of skin that's exposed. There's some type of armor that's on there, and you probably have a weapon or some other gadgets or something that might be a different color. Like, I think that's kind of like the main grouping. Usually you got the skin, the armor body outfit, and then whatever accessories. Like, that's kind of like 3 different points of color that you could do. So let's hit this list of why we think it sucks.
Okay.
Gatekeeping disguises standards.
Yep.
So we kind of already talked about that. Excluding new players who don't have paints or don't have the skills to paint. We're gatekeeping them out of the hobby. Well, it kind of goes into my second point, which is not everyone enjoys painting.
Oh God, no. That's the least. I hate painting minis.
So you got people that don't want to paint it, but they're obligated or they're forced to do it because it's like, well, if I don't, then I can't play. Arbitrary or minimal impact. You've been going on about this since the beginning. Mm-hmm. 3 colors doesn't always equal a good paint job. 3 colors could look like a crappy paint job.
Oh, right. I've seen it. Even at some of the tournaments, I'm like.
The other thing that happens with it is slows down army adoption. 10th edition Warhammer 40K, right? The points, where they're set, in May of 2026, we have over 250,000 points worth of models. That's a lot of points. I would say, I haven't actually tracked it, but I'd say it's probably closer to almost 300,000 or 400,000 points worth of stuff.
Oof.
And there's a lot. And not everything is represented behind us. And not everything is painted. If you're looking at the shelf, right, you can see my NIDs right here that are painted cool. And if you've been paying attention to our videos, you've seen that I've been painting these over the course of that because there's some that are painted and some that aren't. You notice that more of them are painted out. But if you go over 2 shelves, there is a whole bunch of Space Marines. There's probably 40,000 points of just Space Marines, and most of those are unpainted. If we wouldn't adopted all of the things that we have if we stopped and painted everything. It's like that would slow down. That would slow us down with that. And if you're a company that's trying to sell these things, why do I want to slow down the people that are buying stuff? Mm-hmm. That's silly. I don't want to wait weeks or months to paint that list first. I want to build the list. I want to try it out. I want to see what I like, see what I don't like, and then come up with whatever I'm going to do and then paint it. Now, once I have it painted, then I can always add more stuff to it and adopt it. That's what's happening with the Tyranids here, is I did a whole bunch, and then I've added some other things, and I've painted some other things along the way. But that first initial one, I got into it because I probably had a vision of the list. A vision of what I wanted to do. So, and then do it. So, but anyway, so it slows down adoption. And then there's modern alternatives exist. So, there's other ways that we can do it. There's colored plastic, there's contrast paints, there's speed paints, there's digital tools to be able to help track units. There's, you don't have to have a hobby involved to be able to play the game. You don't have to say, thou shalt have your army painted to be able to play the game. It doesn't stop you from playing it. If you're going to enforce that rule, or you're going to use that as a deciding factor, then it needs to be disclosed ahead of time.
Oh yes, 100%.
If I show up and it's like you don't have to have a painted army to be able to play, and then it comes down to it where you're deciding who wins based on who's painted or not, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh, 100%.
We talked about hybrids of the 3 painted rule. I think having other people help you is one hybrid method. We're talking about being able to get it done, right? There's multiple layers of this hybrid method. But if we pretend that you have to have the 3 color rule, then you can have other people help you. It can go in different forms. One, you could pay somebody to do it, which can be very expensive.
Oh,
crazy
astronomically,
right? But also, like in the example I was telling you about with the gentleman that had his disability and was able to physically paint, he had people help him do it. Now, he didn't ask people to help, but we volunteered to do it because we thought it would be a nice thing to do because he cared, right? And that's what you really want. You want people to care. That's like part of the reason why that whole stupid 3 color rule exists, because you want people to care.
You do.
So if they're caring enough that they're talking about it and they're wishing and hoping and they physically can't, yeah, let's help. Let's do a community event to help paint this dude's army so he can play in a tournament. Some people, the only time they're going to play other people is during a tournament. Maybe they don't have friends or groups, and it sounds really easy where you just go and make friends. Like, that's terrifying to people. Like, they aren't going to be able to...
It's so much harder to make friends as an adult.
It can be, yeah.
Granted, I don't have that problem, but I know people that do.
Yeah, usually it's like, hey, yeah, we like the cool things. Like, you want to go do karate in garage? Let's go karate in garage. We're like, I don't have time to do karate in garage. I'm busy. And then
that's the one I fall into.
You got the connection, but you don't have the time to be able to connect
100%
completely. That's the part that sucks. So, anyways, okay. So we're talking about middle ground. So middle ground point number 1, which is having the community or your group help you paint. So that I just kind of extend that out. For example, you don't like to paint.
Yep.
I enjoy painting. Yep. So if we're gonna play and we want to have our stuff painted because we said that we wanted to do that, or we self-imposed that rule on ourselves, then I might paint your miniatures for you.
If you have time.
If I have time. And same thing happens with Leighton. Leighton doesn't enjoy painting as much. He wants to be a better painter, but if it's coming down to it, he's going to ask for help. And so more frequently than not, I'll be helping him do stuff, especially cool special effects. Like using an airbrush, he's not going to use an airbrush ever. I like using an airbrush, and I'm pretty proficient in it, so I'll do the airbrush work for him. Other hybrid methods are giving people bonuses if they do have their army painted, but not bonuses where it penalizes the people that don't have it.
I like that.
That part I think is the best hybrid approach, where like you get an extra, like a reroll or something, or you
start with 1 extra CP.
Something, right? You get something for it. The people that do have their painted, that there's another contest, a hobby contest, and that they win. So you could win best painted, and you also have the best player. So you are separating those elements. Yeah. I think that's a great hybrid approach. And I think that approach should be applied to everything. Make sure you use standard, like as long as you cover the things that I was talking about, make sure you can tell visually the difference between models. Commonly we call that WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. And then you let the hobby people get into the hobby part, and then you let the players with the strategy get into the players and strategy. That's what
I like the bonus, but not docking people.
Yeah.
Also, ask your friends for help.
Okay, so I got a checklist, and what it is when you should enforce the 3-color rule. It is focused more on like tabletop wargaming than it is D&D, but it does have, you could really apply it. Now, so 1, painted armies dramatically improve presentation. Okay?
They do.
If it's a competitive or premium event, basically expectations should match the level of the event. So this is number 3. Your community is hobby focused. So it's kind of like the players are involved and they really get into the hobby and it's more hobby focused. Then you might want to enforce the 3-color rule to say, hey, we want this to be this way. Maybe that means that it's a campaign level event. So you're doing campaigns and you really want to have that immersive experience. We're on number 4. You want to encourage army completion. So it's kind of like the rest of them. You want people to have their army completed. And then unit identification matters most. Now, we talked about ways to accomplish that without it, but painting them is a way to identify. I think that's one of the best reasons for having the 3-color rule enforced is identification of the models. When you skip the 3-color rule, when you should avoid it.
Yes.
So 1, You're growing a new community. You don't want to gatekeep the community by saying those that can paint and those cannot paint, or those that have time to paint. So you're saying new players should play first and paint is second. Your players have a limited amount of time.
Wait, that's number 2?
This is number 2.
Oh.
Yeah, number 2.
Players have a limited amount. Yes, we all have limited amount of time these days.
So I put with this, don't punish people for real life.
Yes.
They got jobs, they got commitments, they got families, they got whatever, right? People got all sorts of stuff. How often do things
come up for us where we're like, we got to pivot that day?
Exactly. That happens all the time. The group likes to test list. If you're gonna gatekeep and say we can't play a game unless your models are painted, then how are you gonna have her test anything? That means you're gonna have to paint everything all the time. The focus is on casual fun. So then it's up to the people. Maybe they paint it, maybe they don't. It's up to them, whatever, however, whoever. So this is number 5. The cost is already a barrier. Just affording the models can be a challenge. Even with 3D printing, you still have to invest time, effort, and potentially resin to be able to print them. Like, cost is a barrier for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that show up to tournaments with lists that are junk simply because they're like, I couldn't afford or couldn't find it to be able to get the models I needed. So now
they're expensive.
Now you have to be able to have them buy paint and do these other things. It's expensive. It's crazy.
That's insane.
So there you go. There's my list. So when you should enforce it, when you shouldn't, at least give you a general idea.
Just know that the Barbarian's not a fan of 3-color rule.
Okay. I think
this Barbarian doesn't like being told what to do.
I'm a fan of the hybrid approach where you separate out the hobby and the strategy part of it.
100%. That feels better to me because I don't know, the accessibility part, just the entry level just feels better.
Yeah, I have a local hobby store here that they do tournaments from time to time. There's several around us, but one of them does a pretty good job of saying, hey, this is going to be a no painting requirement type of tournament. And then sometimes, like when they do like their store championship, they'll do those once a year.
That makes sense.
They'll say you have to have a painted requirement.
You're doing a championship. That makes sense.
Haven't subscribed at this point, or you got comments, put them down below.
Please.
If you don't, then I'm disappointed in you. Everybody has an opinion. Share your opinion.
Let us know. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Is there something we missed? Or what kind of barbarian should I play when I finally play a barbarian?
There you go. It doesn't always have to be on topic.
It doesn't. Or tell us what good food you ate. I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, you got good places to eat. I want to know. Like, hey, if you're ever in St. Louis, then you stop by this place. It's the
100%.
Sweet. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, I appreciate it. Everybody keep doing the hobbies, whether you're painting or just practicing your games. I don't really care. But until the next time when we see you
at the table.
That's right.